Hi guys, Stacy here. I've got a couple of traveler's notebooks to share with you. These are standard size. They can fit in your traveler's notebook or you can use them on their own. So they are fabric covered, and I've channeled my vintage collection of Denison labels. So this is my take on a Denison label. So one is cream with red and one is the red with the cream. And they're about 95% identical inside. So I will take you through. Each one has a shipping tag and a little charm of a letter, and I've stamped this out, just a little shipping tag. Now there's nothing on this. This is basically for the recipient to do what they please. The pocket in the front of both of them are made with Tim Holtz fabric. I thought it looked really cute with the red and the cream, so I'll go right in here and show you what they look like. And they've just both got the twine on them. So like I said, they're almost identical other than a couple of things I've added, vintage items that I've added in both. So just so you know, they're both set up, see, identical. So I'll go through this one in more detail. And this is all vintage paper. Now this, when I say vintage paper, this is all that paper that we see in the front and back of all the vintage books. And I've just added a lot of this. It's got different, you know, aging on it, different textures. This is a coffee stained page. I have added a little bit of that in there. This is vintage atlas page, and I've turned it into a pocket. And I have, because I have reinforced the pockets as well behind, so that when you're putting things in and out, that there be no ripping, because, you know, it is vintage paper and it isn't, it stood the time, but, you know, just for less delicate purposes there. Anyway, this is vintage as well. It's a sticker. So I've sewn it into a pocket, and each one of these have a couple of postcards. Now this one here is from Venice, I believe. And it's from 1927, and it was mailed to someone in Brooklyn, New York. Isn't that cool? It's almost like a photograph as well, kind of like the Paris one, if you catch my video that previously. So, and then so like I said, these are all little pages from, you know, vintage books that I had. Some are, you know, not in perfect condition, but the textures of them are really yummy. Different textures of paper. This is really old ledger here. This piece here is just photocopier paper, and it was a cream color. And this is vintage page as well. This grid paper, it's really cool. And then another piece of coffee paper. Now this was a shorter piece that one. So what I've done is I've added these little pockets here. Now these are printable shipping tags, little labels I mean, and I've just stitched in these little pockets where you could keep a little collection or pictures or whatever. And this is a Rolodex card, and I've just, you know, done some trim, and I've stamped, and this is a Cavallini and Company stamp. And then I've made these little paper clips, altered paper clips. This is Cavallini and Company as well, and I've just, you know, these are little stickers, and I've done some stamping. I make these a lot on my journals. And then there's another little shipping tag. Now here's a book page. This one is on making paper. This is also vintage paper, but I've used my Stampin' Up! Punch on that one. And this is vintage ledger as well. Now this is a piece of coffee paper, and I've just stitched around just for some interest as a flip. This is an old pattern book for making clothes and cutting out clothing. So I've added that in there, and this is also a vintage botanical book that I had. Added that in there, and here is another little pocket with another see-through pocket that I've stitched, a library card, and this is also vintage paper. Here is some music paper, and here's more of that old ledger that I had. One big long sheet in each one. It's just been divided. I've been able to cut it, and so in the center I've created two more pockets. And here's the second postcard, Sorrento, Italy. I have a lot of old postcards from Italy. This one went to somebody in the States in Maine, and it was 1932. Isn't that cool? And then of course there's another few little stamped tag here and a few guest checks. There's some more. So on here, I've just left these plain. These are great backgrounds to do what you please with them. And then another vintage page. So this is also a vintage airmail envelope. So I've stuck that in there, and then it can be used as a pocket, and I've added some more little bits here that can be used throughout the journal. This is a Cavallini and Company as well. And here's another little vellum pocket that I've stitched around and added some little bits there. And then of course there's the other side of everything. There's that paper making page. So I really like the fresh, clean take on this. I don't like a lot of necessarily images sometimes, but red is my favorite color, and I love how red and cream look together. There's another little collage I've done with some Cavallini stickers there. So there's some more fabric. And there's the other side of that vintage atlas page. So yeah, I haven't added any pockets or anything here. My pocket that I added was on the front. Okay, so I'll show you real quickly the inside of this one, just so you can see the postcards, but they are literally identical. So same paper, atlas paper, pockets. So this one here is from Venice, and I believe it's 1920? Yeah, 1920. Isn't that cool? And it was mailed to somebody in Pennsylvania, USA. It's so neat. I have a huge collection of postcards from Italy. Okay, so it's exactly the same layout. It's kind of fun to make two projects identical, but having the covers look slightly different. And then there's some more. These are all stickers, same label stickers. Another one of these Rolodex. And then some more of that vintage paper making page. Let's get to the other, there's another botanical, just a different flower. So same goodies. And then inside this one, I believe this one might be Rome. Yep, Rome. This one's really old too. It was mailed to somebody in New Jersey, USA in 1930. It's so cool. And then of course the same little goodies here. I love these airmail envelopes. The same little bits in there. So yeah, these are basically for people who like to start with a fresh page, break a fresh page, and I just love red and cream together, like I said, and I had a lot of fun making these. I like making two things at the same time, but even though they're almost identical, the look of them is slightly different. But anyway, these will be listed in my shop. If you're watching this, they're listed now. And yeah, thanks for watching, and let me know if you'd like to see the collection I'm making with the cream and the black and the cream. So I'm working on those as well. So anybody who doesn't like red, maybe you like cream and black, which are also one of my favorite combinations. All right, thanks for stopping by, guys, and take care.